Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, afternoon.
You would not believe what's going on. It's royal. It's been Royal Weekend. I think some people are still
I'm still celebrating
the festivities.
It was fantastic.
Do you know,
absolutely.
She's been shuffling in this chair for about 10 minutes now, trying to get her poise right.
Yes.
Trying to get her poise right. So.
It was all elegance and beauty over the weekend.
And we have Dr. Stephen.
Oh, Dr. Stephen!
He's messing around with his microphone. I swear to God, what is going on this afternoon? We've got one of our guests pretending to hold his tummy in right now as well.
Oh, that's
what is going to happen? What is happening with this entire program?
Oh, hello, Stephen.
Hello.
You were on camera just now.
Sorry, I had to fix my mic. My mic wasn't working properly.
Yeah, right. That's what he told us. He was posing as well.
I was adjusting, just like you were.
Oh, yes.
Fixing.
One was adjusting.
Oh, God.
Hey, viewers, royal wedding.
One is going to talk about the royal wedding.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Was it great, Stephen?
Yeah, it was alright. No, I'm only joking. It was amazing. It was a great time. It was amazing.
Fabulous.
It was a fabulous day.
It was.
I think
the sun was shining on their day.
They had such a good day.
Thousands of guests.
I had such a good.
You were a celebrity, weren't you?
I tell you what, I was working for the BBC over the weekend.
Yes.
And the reality was, I watched that and I thought, hallelujah, hallelujah for Meghan.
Oh, for Meghan.
For Meghan, because
Why?
I think there was a lot of subliminal messages in that service.
Okay.
There was a lot of subliminal messages. I loved the message, "Stand by me." I love that, and do you know what? My phone is going up. Do you know, folks, this afternoon, it's like a nightmare this afternoon. They've got a guest who's driving, and goodness knows where she's got to. My phone is ringing.
Another royal correspondent, viewers. Well,
And I'm exhausted,
you have been busy, and Ian has done very well, viewers. He was very well sought after, wasn't he, Stephen?
Yeah, he was.
We saw him on TV talking about the royals.
On the BBC, guys.
Yeah,
talking about the royals.
BBC.
He came across very well, Ian.
You did.
You projected immensely.
Oh,
you sounded and looked amazing.
The African and Caribbean communities and Asian communities, but also at the same time, I hope putting a true analysis on how I feel about what Meghan is bringing
to the royals.
Yeah. I just love it. And the bishop.
Just bringing
youth.
Did you like the bishop?
Oh,
that was Michael Curry. Did you watch Michael Curry?
I did.
What did you think?
He was great. He brought a different dimension to the wedding,
And you know what? I mean,
traditional.
I was, as I said, I've been working with BBC News all weekend, and they replayed the entire wedding several times, but they cut his speech in half.
Yes, they did.
I noticed.
It was only meant to be on for about 6 minutes.
Basically,
yeah.
And he went on for 13 minutes because he got excited, viewers.
Oh, he got excited. So did I. I thought, good on you, Bishop.
Yeah, you good on you. They're both like that.
Yeah, they are. They talk.
And then Stand By Me, and the royal family, the faces on the royal family.
Did you see them?
The faces on the royal family. As I said, David Beckham seemed to be enjoying it.
Well, Stephen's going to be talking about the celebrities that attended.
I know, he's going to talk about that. But I thought, just one last thing, I thought Elton John was going to have a heart attack. He looked like he was about to have a coronary during the bishops. He said, he looked horrified. Anyway, Dr. Stephen, it's over to you now.
It is celebrity time.
Oh, it was great.
Did you see the amount of celebrities that turned out for the wedding?
I was quite surprised, but there was quite a few. Who were they? Tell us.
Alba.
I know.
Serena Williams. Oprah came as well.
Yeah, I was quite surprised.
George Clooney and his wife.
Oprah sort of hit herself. I think she did very well.
She did.
She hit herself behind, was it the Suits girls, didn't she? She came walking down with the Suits girls.
She did.
I didn't even recognise her.
No, she did, because she knows the amount of publicity. Yeah. The press would go. And
she was decent in the fact that she wasn't trying to take any limelight
and I thought that
stay in the background.
Very elegant, classy. Yes,
exactly.
Yes,
absolutely.
James Corden was there.
Unlike myself, who was saying it large all weekend.
Yes, Ian, we're
You were
not.
saying that you loved George Clooney's
His wife's outfit. For me, that was the favourite outfit for me. You know, it was the mustard gold with the hat.
And she
she's
said best dressed. They said she was the best
Yeah,
dressed.
she's the best dressed.
At the wedding.
She was, most definitely. But what happened to Victoria Beckham? Oh my goodness. What was she wearing?
I don't know.
Was it a wedding or a funeral? Sorry, Views, but I've got to say it.
I think
She was miserable.
She came walking down, and they made a point, didn't they? They made a point of walking down hand in hand. I mean, you couldn't miss that. But he didn't look that happy. It was only,
Beckham.
Yeah, but
he was chewing a gum. That's why he was
chewing gum.
exactly.
Yeah. And the camera was right on him.
No protocol.
It was only,
Absolutely none. Sorry.
it was only when he got. You could see. He had a very wry smile on his face during the service.
He did. I saw that. And so William was sniggering. You know, when the bishop.
I mean, the Queen. Look on the Queen's face. Prince Philip. You know,
he was smiling away.
I think it was an interesting thing to watch. But I think one of the best things that sort of happened as well was that Meghan kept eye contact on her mother constantly during that time. Right. You know, especially when they were sat down.
I didn't notice that. Did you?
I did. They were keeping eye contact on all the time. Or she was keeping eye contact, and you could almost. Yeah, as the different things came up, you know, like the Stand By Me, you know, and the Bishop, and some of the other things.
But did you expect that from the Bishop? It was a complete shock for me.
It was. I didn't
expect that kind of service.
Whoa, yeah.
It was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
But I did not expect.
No, but he was passionate. And he says, two people are falling in love and we thought we all better just turn up.
That was a great line.
It was some of these throwaway lines, you know, and you know, I was looking at Fergie's two children.
I know she got invited.
The two daughters, she got invited as well. Yeah. Well, thank goodness she did. You know, I mean, Andrew's there, the two daughters are there. They've been together forever. They may be divorced, but they all live in the same place in Windsor.
Well, I have heard, allegedly, that they've been given permission, maybe the Queen's given them permission to remarry.
Yeah.
Really?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She's moved back in with him, hasn't she?
Oh, she's been there for
years.
You know, I mean,
Sorry, Stephen, we're cutting into your celebrity bits.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some time for this, isn't there?
You've got 1 minute, Stephen, because you are back tomorrow. We'll get you to do everything.
Yeah, I'm back tomorrow, viewers, and you'll hear everything I have to say.
Did you have anything decent to talk about today?
I've always got decent things to
Did you have anything to talk about?
Dare you?
Off with his head, viewers. Off with his head.
Security! Remove this man. Right, so just quickly then, we have Rita Ora had to pull out of her gig in Bristol, which is a shame. You know, there was thousands of guys that were prepared to go and bought tickets, and at the last minute she was ill. She put a viral video apologising. So not great for the Rita Ora fans, but she did look really bad. She looked poorly. So unfortunately, no dates for her at the moment.
Right.
They will be putting the dates out at a later date.
Cut.
Yep, see viewers?
That's it. That's our celebrity news for today, folks. You know,
there we go.
He'll be back tomorrow.
He'll be back tomorrow. Oh,
And I will
God.
share the rest of my news from this week and last week because I didn't get to do it, viewers.
We're getting told off here. We're getting told off.
So after the break, we have the wonderful Helena Chard, one of my greatest friends, a royal photographer.
Mine too.
And royal commentator.
I'm about to meet her
What's the
as
matter
well.
with you this
you're about to
afternoon?
meet me.
You're shuffling, you're shouting in my... Anyway, so we're going to go... Which camera am I on now? All the cameras have changed. So we're going for a quick break and then Helena will come on. And thank you, Dr. Stephen,
Thank you.
for all that news you brought to us.
I'll be back tomorrow, viewers. Don't worry. Fresh as always. You know.
Oh God, here we go. Bye.
Take care.
Well, what can I say? Do you know what? I'm surprised I don't wear a heart pacemaker some days.
I know.
You know,
It's kind of scary. This
Some of these shows,
I know,
you know,
I know.
to say we fly by the seat of our bottoms, our seats, sometimes it is. But we have the wonderful
We certainly
Helena Chard
do.
now coming in and come a little bit closer to us.
Welcome.
We don't
Hello
bite.
again. Hi. I've been on
You
before.
made it.
I did by the skin of my teeth.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
rather hot.
Oh, don't worry, you look
I'm sure I
glorious.
look glorious.
You do, you're glowing, my dear.
Nice to see
How are you?
Very well.
We're talking
very
all
well.
royal.
Absolutely royal.
'Cause that's
so
up your street.
Excited. So excited, everyone.
So what did you
Absolutely
think?
loved
What did
it.
you
I
think?
thought magical, absolutely spectacular. I really thought amazing. I mean, Meghan looked amazing in her Givenchy dress, designed by a British designer, I have to say.
Yep.
And Harry, impeccable as usual.
Yep.
Just, it was really beautiful.
And he had a beard because
He
we were
did.
for the
We were
past
talking
few
about
days we've
it.
been talking
Yeah.
about a beard or no
Absolutely.
The
beard.
Queen gave him permission, right?
Yeah, I knew it would be a beard with military,
Oh,
so I
I'm
was
glad he
so
kept it on, though.
pleased, so pleased. But it was just so special. It was just such an intimate setting that everyone was watching, and they did it their way, and that's what was so special. I mean, everything, the music was beautiful.
Yeah.
Shaku, who won Young Musician of the Year
Absolutely.
on his cello.
Yes, he was amazing.
Stunning,
wasn't he?
absolutely
He's
stunning.
only 19, what pressure
Incredible.
on
It's
him.
so good.
Yeah.
Do you think there are subliminal messages there? Do you know, all right, people won't believe you, but first of all, we had the bishop, and the bishop went on
Bishop
for
Curry,
Michael
Bishop Curry.
Bishop went on for some
Yeah.
time. didn't
Oh,
he?
yeah, me
That was
too.
entertainment. That was
I loved
entertainment.
But then the choir sings "Stand
Stand
by
by
Me," and I'm thinking, okay, I'm hearing this now. It could be, "Stand by me for the rest of my life," or it
Yeah,
could
I
be
took it like
"Don't
that.
forget me."
That's how I took it.
I took it like that.
Perhaps
No.
I'm too cynical.
I think it was
Perhaps I'm
just-
too
Yeah,
cynical.
that's how I saw it. Ian saw it differently.
Yeah.
Perhaps I see it as, it reminded me of the look on Charles's face when they started singing "Stand by Me."
Oh, I think
Yeah.
it was priceless. Everyone's faces were. But I think it's because they were just genuinely entertained.
Yeah.
It's just so different. It's just a merge, isn't it, of obviously Meghan's family and the royal family.
Well, she
which
just
has
had
made
the one,
something so special.
her mom, Dorian.
That was. I think
I
that
found
was
that
a
bit
bit
sad.
That was the only.
That was sad for
thing.
me.
But
Yeah.
how lovely when Charles took her hand and then Dorian took
The
Oh,
two
I
handles.
know.
It's
and they went,
two-handed.
and it was lovely. It
That was
just
that was
so
that
special.
was a
She-
piece.
She
of
touched a lot
class.
of people,
Wasn't
yes.
That
it?
was a piece of class, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
really was, and I think what I was seeing, my interpretation was that when they were both sat down, Meghan and her mother were keeping eye contact almost continuously, and there was almost like there was this running joke. But Meghan's face, I think, is quite poker face at times. You can't quite tell. You can't quite tell sometimes what she's thinking.
Really open.
But-
I thought they all were.
Oh no, I mean she
The look
smiles
of
a lot,
love,
but
it was
sometimes she
absolute
can't
love.
hide the smile. And when
were giggles.
when the bishop was going on, you could see.
But, I mean, they were obviously looking. I mean, Did you see Zara? She was. Just,
I thought she was going to go into labour. I really thought she was going to go into labour.
And Fergie's daughters
Yes,
were
they
just
were
laughing.
wide open, mouth wide open.
And if Charles had looked around at Camilla, that would have been it. They would have been giggling
Yeah, they would have been
away.
stitches, yes. Most
But it
definitely.
was really so special, and everyone says the same, and everyone was watching it. We've got a new generation now of royals
Yep.
that we
Certainly
would
do.
never have had. So this is huge, and it's going to bring in. I mean, just Meghan on her own is going to bring in something like $1 billion
Yeah.
into the economy, and it's so needed.
Yeah.
They're
But
so
I
loved.
think it's just as important, and as this channel supports communities very, very strongly, and I think it's very important for a role model like Meghan to actually now really be
Hugely.
seen to supporting the communities
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
Because people associate with her now.
Yeah.
She's one of
And
the-
I think what was special for me was that the multiculturalism, the diversity, and I saw
Yeah.
people, disabled people, in their chairs as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they made an effort. Obviously, our next guest is going to be talking about all of this
Yeah.
as well. They made an effort to include
Incredibly
everybody.
inclusive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very
Incredibly.
inclusive.
And Michelle Obama gave a very good quote last week to say that she is the window, she is the mirror of the future. And I thought
that's
that,
right.
and I thought
That's
that,
not
and
bad,
I
that
thought
one,
that
Ian.
was,
No.
I thought that was a very interesting way of putting it. I
Yeah.
think the whole world now is focused on Meghan.
Yeah.
They've definitely taken her
Yeah.
to their hearts. And, not to forget that they're a powerhouse, they're a power team.
Oh, they are. The four of them.
Yeah.
4 of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to do
They're,
amazing
they're very
wonders.
different, aren't they? I mean, obviously,
Very different.
Harry had the flexibility to do a lot more and be more
I think
himself.
he realises now that he's lucky.
Oh, absolutely.
Because obviously
I
William
agree.
and Kate, they have their
Yeah.
future king and everything, but together, so
So,
good.
so one of the
good.
things we were putting a bet on, when do you think a baby arrives?
I don't think it's going to be too soon.
You don't?
Like,
That's interesting.
I don't think it's going to be too soon. I think there's things that Meghan wants to achieve.
Okay.
But it's not going to be too far either, so I'm not
No.
going to give an exact thing, but I feel that she wants to just...
Okay.
Yeah, she's
keep
very much
running.
into female empowerment
Yeah.
and, you know, supporting the youth, and she wants to literally get back to
That's,
work.
that's spoiled my bet. I'll put on January next year, folks.
Well, you won sometimes, but just to say, did you see the Jag? Did you see how
Oh,
that
yes.
bond?
Oh,
They got
but it was electric powered.
It was electric, wasn't
Power.
it? And did you notice it was left-hand drive?
Yes.
Yes.
Because it did make me
Where did that come from, for goodness
think,
sakes?
goodness, was it, did it come over from America? Is it Meghan's? I'm sure it's
Do you
not,
know
but
what?
you just
We
don't
have
know.
ways of finding out, don't we?
Do you know
We'll
what?
find
Find
out.
out.
We'll find out. I'll
Because
find out.
you know, it was a left-hand drive, and I thought it's obviously they were emulating what was it, an MG or something that William and Kate went.
Yeah.
That was a Jag. This
That,
was a Jag.
yeah,
It's
but
a
this
very
is
special-
beautiful. They look like something out of
It
Bond.
was Bond. It was
Wasn't
absolute
it?
Bond.
Yeah, it
I mean,
was.
Harry was just dashing.
Yeah, and she was
beautiful
gorgeous.
in her Stella McCartney dress.
£80,000 for that, and the actual wedding dress was 200,000.
Yeah. And the veil, not forgetting the veil.
Or with the Commonwealth scattered all over it.
53 different flowers from each
Yeah, see,
country.
you would know these things, Ian, but
Yeah.
you know.
I do know these things. Excuse me, I'm a royal commentator.
Know your place.
Oh, see, I'm going to get bullied now.
When they were sewing, the soap that people sew, I don't know, whatever,
The
and
seamstress.
there's lots of them.
Yeah.
They had to wash their hands every half an hour. Can you
Oh, I
imagine when
didn't
they
know
were doing the
that.
veil?
Really?
Because obviously
Oh, but it was
such a-
beautiful, and I love the tiara. as
And I
well.
wonder
Yeah.
as well, because not even the dressmakers knew it was from Meghan.
No.
So I wonder whether they did the same thing as that happened with the
Previous.
Queen. When the Queen had her wedding dress done, it was done in pieces, wasn't it? And then it was sewn together, so nobody knew quite what was
I don't
going
think
on.
you could quite do that with the veil.
No, they wouldn't have done it with the veil, but you know,
The
different
actual
parts,
dress?
the different parts of the dress might
It
have been.
became a real guessing game with that dress, didn't
Mm.
it? Leading up, everyone was saying, "What are you doing it?
Well,
What are you doing it?
it's,
Could be this,
it,
could
you
be
know,
that."
it's strange because I was with one American TV company who naturally thought they'd got the
Oh, really?
exclusive one.
Did they?
No.
No, nobody.
In fact,
Ian, you're laughing. Oh my.
Givenchy didn't really come into it.
Oh.
But
They weren't expecting Givenchy
some people
at
did
all.
say it was homage to Wallace Simpson as well, and that sort of creates another thought. We won't talk about that.
She was American.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the
Helena,
other thing as well. the
Thank you so
American.
Oh,
much.
thank
so much.
you.
Unfortunately,
Thank you very much.
we've hit our time again as well.
We
See
certainly
you all
have.
very
So-
soon.
Yeah, you'll be back.
You'll be back. So
Yeah.
now we're just going to have another short break. I don't know which camera I'm on this afternoon, so I'm going all over the place. So we're just going to have another short break, and then we will have Hardeep Rai on. And now we're back with the wonderful Hardeep Rai, a great friend of mine, and the founder of Kaleidoscope Investments as well at the same time. So welcome this
Welcome.
afternoon.
Thank you.
And we were talking about how many disabled people had come to the royal wedding over the weekend, and you're very much part of the disability scene, I suppose is probably a word for it. Tell us a little bit about what Kaleidoscope does.
Well, Kaleidoscope invests in people with disabilities that have great business ideas, and we help them to start their own businesses. And actually, from my point of view, it's very refreshing to see so many people with disabilities at the event. I'm a great fan of diversity. I think diversity is very important. And it was through having a severely disabled child that I began to realise some of the challenges that people with disabilities face, particularly when it comes to communicating and how quickly judged they are as well. And that was one of the reasons I set up Kaleidoscope, because we wanted to have a platform that was completely neutral, that wouldn't judge anybody on the way that they look, that would just look at them and judge them on their merits. So that was why we set up Kaleidoscope Investments.
And a large part of it is trying to get disabled people into work. So what type of things do they face? What are there barriers that they face?
I think there's a lot of unconscious bias that people with disabilities face. I mean, we've met over 700 people over the last 3 years, and some of their stories are really quite shocking, especially when they get through to the interview stage and they don't disclose what their disability is. But then the minute they start to be interviewed, all of a sudden people realise this is what their disability is, and they come up with different excuses. We have one person in particular who's visually impaired, and he's made over 3,000 job applications, and he has not found a job.
See, we would know this. This news like this doesn't get out. We don't really get to hear about this.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
and we did a video recently on unconscious bias and actually how many people, without even thinking, have these biases. And it's incredible how many of us do it without, it's just second nature for us. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges they face.
I think it is hard at times, isn't it? Because I've done it myself. I see someone disabled in the street and I tend to look away. So as it doesn't appear that I'm staring at them.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether that's a good thing to do or a bad thing to do. What do you think?
I think it's a very difficult one, Ian. I mean, when Ishan was young, very young, sort of 2 to 3,
This is your son?
This is my son,
yeah.
Ishan, who is 11 years old now. I was quite angry with the world, and I was quite angry with other parents, to be honest, because, they seemed to have everything perfectly and I didn't. But what I quickly realised over time is that you can't really blame people, because it's actually not your fault that you don't know what to do or what to say. You feel awkward, and actually a lot of people feel awkward. But it's only people that have really engaged with disabled people that understand that. Otherwise it's very difficult to. And one of the challenges I often had was when I speak to somebody that is deaf and they have an interpreter, who do you look at?
Yeah.
Do you look at the individual that is sign languaging to the interpreter, or do you look at the interpreter? There's a lot of etiquette that's involved in these things, so people can be misunderstood without meaning to be rude.
How do you think you can help disabled people now?
Well, I think the way that Kaleidoscope wants to come across, it's very important. We are totally non-judgmental organisation. We will look at you, excuse me, on your merits, what your capabilities are, not what you look like, not what other people have said, not about your health background. We deal with a lot of people that have mental health related issues, for instance.
Yeah, because you mentioned this to me the last time we spoke, and I was quite surprised at the people that are described as having a disability. And you were saying people with anxiety or depression.
Post-traumatic stress
I wasn't
disorder.
aware of.
Absolutely. Well, according to the Equalities Act 2010, that's who we judge as having a disability, and mental health is absolutely in the centre of that. And a lot of people with mental health issues that we deal with, including people that have schizophrenia or psychosis or these illnesses that most people be afraid of, are people that we interact with. And actually a lot of them are rocket scientists. They have the best ideas, but they just need to be heard. And I think that is what Kaleidoscope is all about. It's about listening.
What type of advice do you give those types of individuals, in the first place?
The advice that we always tell people is focus on what your strengths are and not what your weaknesses are. It sounds really obvious, okay?
Yeah,
actually, that's
positive.
advice for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's critical, because I think with people with disabilities, they tend to be so overshadowed by what their disability is. They make assumptions on what other people are going to think about them. Don't make those assumptions, just look at what your strengths are. And there's so many people like Richard Branson and Virgin that have recognised autism and have now set up a company that hires autistic people in the IT sector. So look at what your strengths are and recognise how you can make that into a real positive for an employer.
And I know you're having a major event, I think in July. Just talk a little bit
July
about
the
that.
2nd.
And also how people can contact you as well.
Sure. Well, July the 2nd is an event we're hosting with the government, and it's all about celebrating disabled entrepreneurship. What we have is we have 10 people that are coming along, and they're going to be talking about their experiences, their challenges, why they started their own businesses, but also what success they've had since then. And the aim is to inspire other people that are there, but also to motivate them to continue with their own business ideas. And we're lucky enough to have the Disability Minister that will be talking there too. And we're sponsored by NatWest, so we'll have a lot of press. So July the 2nd from 12 to 6 p.m. And if you come to our website, which is kaleidoscopeinvestments.com, that is the way that you can get hold of us.
Oh, we'll be there. We'll support that.
We will indeed. Where do you see the future, first of all for Kaleidoscope, but also for disabled people? What's the dream? What's the wish?
That's a great question. 3 weeks ago, my eyes were really opened to the global challenges that people are facing, because I attended an aid and trade exhibition, and I realised through all these global crises and everything that's happening, how many people are becoming disabled through war. And I was shocked to read a statistic that in the Syrian crisis, over 1 million out of 1 million people that have been injured, 22% have been permanently disabled. So what I'd love to do with Kaleidoscope is to take our proposition about entrepreneurship global and start working with aid organisations to help create entrepreneurs so that they can actually become the future employers for other people. So we create a sustainable model. That is really what my vision is for Kaleidoscope.
And really, you know, these days with disabilities as well, and there's so many categories now of disabilities, is it impossible to actually almost create new laws to cover everything? You know,
I think it's very difficult. I think it would be very difficult, to be honest. I think what we have to try and do is look through what that disability is, because, you know, would you consider depression to be a disability, for instance? Okay,
no,
ordinarily you
no.
wouldn't. But actually, if you've had depression for more than 12 months, then it is considered to be a disability. Yeah. And I think if we keep trying to change laws, we're going to continue to become, it's just going to become too complicated. I think the Equality Act goes a fair way to be able to describe disability. And I think what we should try and do is take away the sort of the title of disability and look at what's underneath it.
Well, thank you so much again. I mean, it's been a fascinating programme today again, because we've had royal wedding fever, and all the enjoyment of that, but then we come back to earth and we listen to something like Hardeep has just talked about, and how important that is as well, and how the royal family and the royal wedding actually recognise disabled people and how they want to help at the same time. So we've another show. Thank you so much to our guests, to Hardeep, to Stephen, and to Helena. And we will see you again tomorrow at our normal time.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. BMT, or GMT, isn't it?
Yeah, GMT.
BMT?
Not BLT.
BLT. I knew I was hungry. And
see you tomorrow.
as always, remember, keep on smiling. It makes people wondering what you're smiling about. Bye for today.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.